Welcome into Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jaguars versus Chargers, key matchup and keys to victory. We've got two 1-1 teams. Jaguars coming off a victory over the Colts, a dominant 24-0 victory at that, while the Chargers fell just short against their division rival Kansas City Chiefs. Jaguars have remained fully healthy to this point in the season, while the Chargers are nursing some wounds to Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Corey Linsley, and a couple others. Still, the Jaguars are 7.5-point road dogs in this one, and they have lost 18 straight games on the road. We're going to jump into the matchups and keys to victory right now. You can hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're on YouTube. And if you want to support the channel further, you can go pick up some gear at GenJag.com or become a channel member. We've got links in the description below. We'll dive into matchups to watch right now. Christian Kirk versus Bryce Callahan. I think this is one of the premier matchups in the entire NFL this week. Christian Kirk has been dominant for the Jaguars over the first two games of his career in Jacksonville. Doug Peterson has been moving him into the slot, moving him into the backfield, getting him on halfback angles, getting him in motion. He's been using him in a variety of ways, creating mismatches, creating advantageous situations for the Jaguars offense for Christian Kirk to get open. And then when you talk about what Christian Kirk has done himself, he's caught everything thrown to him. He's running crisp, precise routes. He has really developed even to a higher level than what we saw in Arizona with his ability to use subtle head fakes and body movements to get defenders flying in the wrong direction. And when Doug is able to get linebackers matched up on him, it's game over. But the Los Angeles Chargers have Bryce Callahan, who is perhaps the best cover nickel cornerback in the game today. He has been targeted 8 times in coverage so far this season and given up just 21 yards. He's been lights out. Again, one of the very best nickel corners. So it's not only Christian Kirk versus Bryce Callahan, but how can Doug Peterson get Christian Kirk to not be aligned across from Bryce Callahan? How can he move him around the formation to get in those situations where he's covered by linebackers, by safeties? I think that's going to be a fascinating matchup. But Christian Kirk and Bryce Callahan, they will be lined up against each other at times. Can Christian Kirk win those matchups? We're going to find out. I think it's going to be a really big key for the Jaguars in this one. Then we've got Jaguars offensive tackles. Jawan Taylor on the right side, Cam Robinson on the left side, versus Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. These two guys, Bosa and Mack, they can move around a little bit. Last week, it looked like they were aligned Joey Bosa primarily on the defensive left side, offensive right side, Mack on the defensive right side, offensive left side. So if that holds true here, you're going to see a lot of Cam Robinson versus Khalil Mack, a lot of Joey Bosa versus Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor's playing the best football of his life right now. Has not allowed a single pressure. And I believe 78 dropbacks for Trevor Lawrence. Cam Robinson is coming off a very nice performance against his former teammate, Yannick Ngakoue, who he was able to shut down in that contest, quite frankly. Allowed one pressure, but dropping back 30 times, allowing only one pressure, being dominant in the run game as well. I think both of those tackles are playing probably the best football they've played in some time, perhaps in their entire lives. But Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are a whole different test, right? Cam Robinson, he did face Montez Sweat in week 1, Yannick Ngakoue in week 2. Jawan Taylor, he went up against Kwity Paye last week, who's a talented young player, but Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are two of the premier edge defenders in the NFL. They've been doing it for a long time. Joey Bosa is incredibly technically proficient along with his natural God-given athletic ability and talent. Khalil Mack is a freak show when it comes to his power and speed and athleticism. That's going to be a huge matchup. Are you going to use Chris Manhertz to help out on either side? I'm sure you will at times. Are you going to use these running backs to chip, to stay in pass protection? I'm sure you will at times. But Jawan and Cam Robinson, this is a huge opportunity for two players who have played fairly well so far for the Jaguars. This is their opportunity to really show the NFL what they're made of, what they're all about. Show them that, now that we have the proper coaching, now that we have an offensive line coach in Phil Rauscher who's allowing us to play to our skill set, and a head coach who's allowing us to play to our skill set, head coach and offensive play caller in Doug Peterson, we're playing good football, and we deserved to be second-round picks when we were picked. We deserve to be starters in this league, and we're not afraid to go up against anybody. That's the opportunity that Jawan Taylor and Cam Robinson have this week. It's a huge test. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, you could certainly argue, is the most lethal edge tandem in the NFL right now. Then you've got Joe Lombardi versus Mike Caldwell. I find this fascinating. Joe Lombardi is the Chargers offensive coordinator and play caller. Mike Caldwell is the Jaguars defensive coordinator and defensive play caller. Joe Lombardi, he likes to use a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of short to intermediate targets, get the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands quickly. Mike Caldwell, I think, had a fantastic game plan against the Colts, and using primarily a four-man rush, was able to create a lot of pressure using stunts, loops, games up front, where you get Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen building a full head of steam into that backfield, and they are difficult to deal with. I think the chess match between Joe Lombardi and Mike Caldwell is going to be massive in this one. How is Mike Caldwell going to try to defend Keenan Allen, Mike Williams? You're going to see a lot of varied coverages. That's kind of what his MO has been so far. Cover 2, cover 1. Man, you're going to see a lot of different things from them. And the Chargers should be used to that because that's what they practice against every week too. Not the same front, not the same coverage, but their defense is highly varied as well with the coverages they run. I think they're a little bit more of a standard defensive front, four-man front, where you're not getting as many games and stuff up front from them. But the Jaguars are going to run plenty of games, plenty of stunts, trying to get the Chargers' offensive line off balance, trying to get Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker with a full head of steam getting into that backfield there. Finally, we've got Doug Peterson, Jaguars offensive play caller and head coach, versus where is Derwin James? You've got to know, and this goes for Trevor Lawrence as well. Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, head coach, offensive play caller, and quarterback, have got to know where Derwin James is on every single play. This guy is a game wrecker. He can align on the edge and be a legitimate pass rusher. He's already got a sack and 3 pressures this year. He can cover. He can tackle. He can run and hit. He can force fumbles. He can do it all. And you have to know exactly where Derwin James is on every single play. Now, getting into the keys to victory here. Do not believe the hype, because hype is not real. What is real is your work ethic and your preparation and your coaching. If that's what you lean on this week, instead of buying into what you're hearing nationally, people kind of hyping up the Jaguars nationally and locally a little bit, don't buy into that. You have to focus on the task at hand. 1-0 this week. As Doug Peterson likes to say it, so what, now what? So what? You won. You beat your division rivals. You stomped them. So what? Now you got to go to the West Coast where you haven't won on the road in 18 straight games. You're 3-13 all time in the Pacific time zone. So what, now what, says Doug Peterson. And I'm with it. I am with that line of thinking. You cannot buy in to the hype. You cannot relax on your preparation and your work ethic. If the Jaguars prepare the way that Doug Peterson is trying to get them to prepare, and the way the rest of this coaching staff is working towards, They're going to be just fine from a mental and physical standpoint. Now, second key to victory, do not forget about the run. The Chargers' run defense in 2022 has been abysmal. They're giving up over 5 yards a carry. Their run defense in 2021, also not good. They were giving up, I believe, 4.7 yards a carry, about $150 on the ground a game. They can't stop the run. They do not have the beef on the interior to stop the run. And I just encourage Doug Peterson, do not forget about that. Use James Robinson. The Chargers, they're going to try to jump out to an early lead and force you to throw the football. You've got to withstand that. You've got to keep giving James Robinson the football and Travis Etienne the football, because these guys, they don't stop the run. And if you can take advantage of that, it'll get them off balance. It'll get them worrying more about the run, and then you start taking your shots. For the Chargers, you've got to keep Herbie upright. You've got to keep Justin Herbert upright with this rib injury. There's a pain management element to this. You know the Jaguars are trying to get after him here and play this aggressive and rattle Justin Herbert, who's coming off that big rib shot against the Chiefs. I would never suggest anything dirty. I'm a fan of Justin Herbert. I like what the Chargers are doing. I want to see Justin Herbert thrive in this league. But the ribs is scary. Because when you've got guys like Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, Arden Key, all these pass rushers trying to get home, where is a safe spot for them to not pick up a penalty when they're trying to hit you? It's right in that chest and abdomen area. If they go too high, they're going to get, illegal hands to the, not illegal hands to the face, but they're going to get roughing the passer, blow to the head. If they go too low, they're going to get in trouble for going at the knees. That's kind of the target area. That's the strike zone for tacklers and for pass rushers trying to get home. So for the Chargers, they've got to keep him upright. The Jaguars, obviously, it's the opposite. You've got to get him rattled early. And if you can do that, it could be a really long day for Justin Herbert. That is going to do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. You can also hit that notification bell so you don't miss a show on here. And if you want to, check out the channel membership, some cool perks. And of course, you can check out genjag.com right now. Go pick up a new hat, a new shirt. We've got the Duval 1995 throwbacks available in a teal colorway, available for pre-order right now through next Tuesday. So go check it out at genjag.com/shop. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great Thursday, Duval.